I'm Garnet, this is Eggs. Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town is a farming and life sim game developed by Marvelous Inc. for the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Steam in 2021. Or at least that's who everyone lists the developers as. Marvelous hired 3 Rings Inc. to develop the game. I don't know if it was the entire game or just partially, so there's that. Looks like 3 Rings wasn't involved with the remake games at all, as far as I know. This game had a very bad original release. The game was not finished. I pre-ordered it. There were so many bugs and it crashed a lot. I remember that when it crashed for me, it would do it at the shrine area, so even after the update, I was just irrationally afraid of going to the shrine area. I couldn't go there. The makers were garbage. They took forever to make barely anything. I think it was just one product at a time, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't remember everything, but it was awful. The original release was just a bad game. When they announced that it would be getting a big update, I stopped playing completely and waited until the update to continue, and it's way better now. The update helped a lot. So yeah, make sure your game gets fully updated before you play it, or you're going to have a really bad time. This review from now on is for the updated game. A long time ago, your grandfather pioneered Olive Town, a town you've always wanted to live in. So you drive away from the city on your motorcycle, because we have those now, and you get to pick what color. Once you arrive, your bike breaks down, so you can't use it for a while. I don't really know what the point in that was, because it's not like your bike breaking prevented you from going to your destination. It's not like you discovered a new place because it broke. That's where you were going. Anyway, the mayor, Victor, shows you your farmland where you start out living in a tent, and it's up to you to get started on your new life while waiting for your bike to be fixed. Victor and the other characters will keep needing your help to develop the town so that a luxury liner will show up and bring in more tourists. Yeah, the town will barely change. When you start out, you'll have a pretty nice chunk of farmland, and there will be 2 more sections for you to unlock as you play. You are going to eventually need a lot of space for storage and makers, and that's what I currently have on my first chunk of land. I like all that stuff being close to home, but it's up to you. That's enough space for you to start making money on crops right away, and you could absolutely smoosh a barn and coop in there. There will be a whole bunch of trees, rocks, puddles, weeds in the way that you'll need to clear out using your tools. You'll have the axe, hammer, and sickle right away, but the bucket that you'll need for puddles has to wait until the day after the first rain. All of this stuff will respawn pretty quickly, which can be annoying if you want things to look a certain way, but you are going to need a lot of the drops that you get from these things. Different types of trees, weeds, and plants will grow in each section of your farmland, and the trees and rocks get harder and harder to cut and smash with each type you find, so upgrades are a lifesaver. The upgrades will both make you do more damage with each swing, as well as expanding your range when you charge your tools. You'll get a hoe and a watering can on your second day in the game, and those are upgradable as well. Like I said, you can get started on crops right away. There's plenty of space, and you'll get even more space. I've got my crops growing in the 3rd section of my farm now, but they've moved all over. Each seed bag is just 1 seed, so buy or make plenty of them. You'll be able to charge and plant 9 of them at the same time, and it's going to get annoying when you fully upgrade your watering can and it wants you to water 12 at a time, so it might not match up perfectly with how you shaped your field. And you can walk through all of your crops and flowers. Obviously not the trees, that would be weird. There's a nice wide variety of crops and flowers you can grow in each season, including winter. Some can be grown in more than one season, while others are more limited. You can also grow fruit trees that will bear fruit in each season, except for winter. Fertilizer doesn't exist in this game, which I don't mind so much for the crops and the flowers, but it's really annoying for the trees. To get higher level crops, you'll have to put them in the seed maker or seedling maker. There are 2. So each time you grow them, there'll be higher levels each time. So yeah, if you want every single one of your fruit trees to be at the highest level, get ready to do some chopping. And you can't even make the seedling maker, which is what you need for trees, until your orcharding skill is at least level 6. I don't know why those are two different machines. It's so dumb. Taking care of animals is a different from usual. It makes some things easier, one thing more difficult, and either way I don't really like these changes. You don't need to buy a milker, shears, or brush. You don't brush animals at all, it's just not a feature. And when someone needs milked or sheared, you just click the A button on them the same way you do when you pet them, and the milker or shears will just materialize, and then you just click again to actually pet them. It does make it easier, but did I really need something that was already pretty simple to be easier? Your barn and coop animals eat the same thing. There's no separate chicken feed, all fodder. You can buy fodder or grow it yourself, and you can turn it into deluxe fodder by putting it through the silage, and then you can have that fodder be automatically dispensed into the feed bins. The purpose of the deluxe fodder is to raise the product quality, but unfortunately, there's a limit on that. Just taking good care of your animals will not be enough to get their product levels maxed out. But oh, what extra things do we need to do? Are there treats or a special location that we need to have them graze in, like in the 3DS games? No. You have to breed them. The higher the generation of the animal, the higher the quality of the products will be. First gen can only get to level 3 maximum. So, you figure Gen 2 will be able to reach 3 more levels then, right? No. 1 more level. Level 4. You have to go through several generations if you want maximum quality products. The big barn holds 10 animals, and the big coop holds 10 chickens, which is a nice big size, way bigger than the maximum capacity of barns in Trio of Towns, one of my favorite games in the whole series, so that's great. And it doesn't take up a lot of space on your land since you decide where the fences go, if you even decide to build a fence. The customization is very good when it comes to that. However, there is a huge variety of farm animals, which should be a good thing, and it is, but first of all, you need at least 2 barns to fit all 13 animal types. And secondly, if you want to have at least 1 of every animal, and you want them all to be maxed out for product quality, you're going to have to sell animals if you don't want them taking up too much space. So maybe don't get too attached to your first ones. I definitely did. I named mine after Sanrio characters I got attached. I thought the solution for this would be to breed them 1 at a time so that I'd have 2 of each animal and wait for the older one to die and then breed another and do it in an extremely slow way. But guess what? Animals don't die, so they're immortal. I didn't mind animals being immortal at all. In Mineral Town and in Wonderful Life, they would live forever anyway if you took good care of them, so I didn't even notice the difference. But here, they should not be immortal here. The animals do not need to be immortal in every game, or at least not in the games where your product quality depends on breeding. That would actually be useful if the animals would die. I didn't think I'd ever have to complain about my animals not dying, because I usually hate that part of these games. But here we are. If they would just make the quality raised by itself or with treats or something else like that, I'd be fine with immortal animals. That would be great. I don't like when they die. You can't pick up your rabbits, chickens, or pets. I downright hate not being able to do that. I love picking up the small animals. They made it like that in the Mineral Town remake as well, and I don't understand why can't I hold them? Animals, chickens, pets, mounts, and anything you may need for them can all be bought at the Hoof House Animal Shop. 1 building, 2 different sides. Animals and chickens will be bought from Patricia on the left, and pets and mounts from Bridget on the right. Before you can buy any of the barn animals or chickens, you have to tame them first, like each type first in the wild. They'll just be wandering around your farmland. So there's not really much point in buying any of those, because you just breed the ones that you already tamed. Except for the black cow and pink rabbit, I think you need to buy those. Those are the only different ones. So breeding kits though, you'll definitely be needing some breeding kits. There's a nice selection of pets and mounts. And I've been saying mounts instead of horses because one of them is actually a wolf that you can ride on, and one of the pets is a baby wolf. So that's freaking cool. You have to tame the brown horse first for most of the horses to become available, and most of the pets can be bought once you upgrade your house the first time. And Patricia will give you a leash to walk your pets with after you upgrade your house. The rest of the mounts and pets can be unlocked through blessings at the shrine. The shrine can unlock all sorts of good things for you. More stamina, more fertile land, special lands where it's always one season, that's where I like to put my orchards, and whatever else there is, so keep checking that as you get more follower sprites and points. Gloria will give you a camera the first time you enter the museum, and I love when games let me walk around and look at things closely with the camera like this, though I wish there was more to look at. I feel like Animal Parade had a lot to look at. What you're actually supposed to be using the camera for is to take pictures of wild animals and bugs. If you take a good picture, you can submit it to the museum and a statue of that animal will be added to a collection. You can also donate fish and treasures you get from object bags. Pretty neat. You get to pick where it all gets placed, and you could probably make it look pretty nice if you plan ahead, but my museum is just a mess. The fishing rod will be given to you by Manuela the first time you walk into her house. It can be upgraded as well. Fishing is okay in this one. It doesn't take long at all for the fish to bite, but the mini game that you play when reeling it in can take a moment, especially if you're catching something impressive. It's not too hard though. You reel in fast if you press the button on blue, not as good at green, and then just don't press on red. You can see how close you are to getting the fish on the right meter, and you'll lose the fish if that meter on the left goes down. You can craft fish bait to make it easier to find rare fish. You can also eventually build and place fish nets. Each net is one use only. There are 3 mines. Each one goes deeper down than the last. The first is 10, the next one is 30, and then 50. And that's all the deeper that any of them go. There will be better stuff in each one. You'll be able to get ores for metals and raw gems for gems. And of course you'll need to put them through maker machines. You have to put everything. There's so many maker machines. There are weird mole dudes called baddies in the mines, which will take your stamina if you get hit by their waves that are sent out when they pop out and if you touch them. If you hit the baddies with your hammer, eventually they'll drop some kind of item, which could be a few different things. The bucket gets rid of annoying little puddles that give you clay. So much clay. You can also use the bucket at these ponds. When you empty them, you get object bags that you take to Reina at the museum to get appraised. And there are even bigger lakes that get you even more objects. The bucket alone won't be enough for these. You'll want to make a lot of suction pumps that run on refined coal. I've already mentioned makers a few times. There are so many makers, and you'll want multiple of each kind, so they're gonna take up a lot of space. You'll be able to unlock giant versions of the makers, which each take up more space, but they're absolutely worth it. With a regular ingot maker, if you put 5 ore in, you get 1 ingot. You can put in a maximum of 50 to get 10 ingot at a time. Though you still only claim them 1 at a time, so you can just keep putting in more on top. But with a giant ingot maker, you put in 10 to make 3. So you can put in 100 to make 30. And it won't take any longer. But to unlock them and their recipes, you'll have to max out your skill levels. So yeah, you're not gonna have those right away. I'm not happy with the festivals. I'm not happy with what we're missing. We're missing a lot of the usual. No New Year's, New Year's Eve, no Valentine's or White Day, nothing similar to like Halloween and Christmas. Well, there is the Snowshine celebration on winter 25th, so I guess that's like Christmas. You walk around and look at snow sculptures. It's cute, that's cute. There are no festivals for your crops or farm animals, so you can't show off how well your farm is doing. I noticed that missing the most. There are actually only 2 festivals per season, so only 8. I can list them. Egg hunt, it's just a cutscene. You can't look for eggs like in SNES. That's not okay. Pet Derby, you get to raise your pet, that's fine. Summer Jamboree, you play a barrel launching mini game, that's okay, I guess. Fireworks display, you watch the fireworks, love that, that's normal, we get that in a lot of games. Mushroom hunt, you actually get to look for the mushrooms, unlike the eggs. That's better, but why did they do it like this? They made the same festival twice, and only let you participate in one of them. I'd rather hunt for eggs than mushrooms, personally. Spirit Festival. You send lanterns into the night sky, it's beautiful. Fishing tournament, you catch the largest fish, that's fine. Snowshine, like I said, it's the closest thing to Christmas, and it's cute, that's fine, that's not a problem. So I don't hate most of the festivals we do have, they're just not enough. If at least the crop and animal festivals were there, I might not have noticed so much. Okay, I would have noticed New Year's Day missing, because there are 28 days in each season, so I always forget when the year will end, because I expect there to be a couple more days, and then there just isn't. But once I see Spring 1st up there in the corner, I always think I gotta go do something, but there's nothing to do. Nothing in this game is gender locked. You can have any body, face, voice, pronouns, hair, clothing, and spouse as you please. Pretty good customization for your person. I really like some of the clothes. I love Neil's outfit a lot, especially, but I feel pretty limited though. Like, what exists looks good, but like Trio had 165 outfits. While Pioneers, I'm pretty sure, only has 66. Not counting glasses and hats, just clothing. And there's a lot of recolors. Nothing against recolored clothings, just, I mean, yeah, mostly look nice. I just need like 100 more options, please. I feel more or less the same about any other character customization options. What's there is nice, but more would be better. Overall, not bad. The human models are really cute, unless you wear the cowgirl outfit. I hate that. In the main game, there are 5 bachelorettes, 5 bachelors. If you have the DLC, that adds 3 more of each, for a total of 16 potential spouses. There's no special candidates or anything. There will be an event every time you fill one of a candidate's 10 hearts, and the confession and the proposal both count as one of those events. That might sound stressful until you realize that when you have 2 options to choose from in events, it really doesn't matter what you click. I don't like that. I'm the kind of person who thought that the branching heart events in Islands of Happiness were awesome, so not even receiving or losing any points for my choices is pretty boring. I know I sometimes get mildly annoyed if I have to click something that feels out of character for me, just to get points, but like, whatever, I'd still rather have that. To get married, you first need to start dating. To do that, you need to get to at least 6 hearts and see 5 heart events, and then the confession will be a 6th heart event. Buy a confession pendant from the general store for 10,000 G. Then just pick a day that isn't a festival, typhoon, or blizzard, and just give them the pendant. You can date multiple characters at the same time, and there aren't any jealousy points or any negative things that could come from that. While dating, you can participate in the 4 cutscene festivals, because those 8 festivals in the year, 1 in each season will be a cutscene. You'll have to speak to them at the festival in order to join them, which of course will also be true when you're married. But none None of the DLC candidates can participate in festivals. Not when dating or married, so that sucks a lot. Like, romantic events, I feel, were already kind of lacking, and then they took 4 of them away from 6 candidates, because, oh, jeez. To get married, you need to get them to 10 hearts. See 9 heart events, of course the proposal will be the 10th. Upgrade your house at least once, which is just getting out of that tent. Buy the blue feather from the general store for 20,000 G, then pick a nice non-festival day again and give them the feather. Pretty simple. It's not more difficult for the DLC candidates or anything. All the same. You can only marry one person at a time, and you will no longer be dating anyone else once you get married. Before the wedding, you get to pick a date from 3 options, and a wedding outfit out of 4 options. And I am pretty disappointed that there's only 1 dress option. All the rest are suits, 2 more masculine looking suits, and 1 more feminine looking one. I love this dress. It is so gorgeous. I want more. I know we don't usually get to pick from options like this, but now that you're giving me choices, I'm gonna be greedy because I want to pick something that will look good with whatever my future spouse will be wearing. But yeah, getting to see the outfits first and choose is actually really awesome. So I'm glad they did that. My voice is already getting tired from talking and I have so much more to say. Oh, I'm gonna die. The wedding itself is not great. You don't kiss at the wedding. Let me just ruin that for you right now so you don't get your hopes up. When I thought it was about to happen, do you know what we did? Do you know what we did instead? We signed papers. We did paperwork. That is not romantic. Can we hug at least? No, we can't. We can't hug. We have to do paperwork. I hate that. You also can't just keep the wedding outfit you wore. You can buy all of the wedding outfits, but you still have to pay the high price just to wear the one you already should have had. It's like, what happened to the one I used? Did they throw it in the trash? Was it a rental? Why do I have to make a whole new one? Now that you're married, your spouse will of course live with you, and 5 more pretty rainbowy hearts will be added for you to continue filling. There are 5 more events, of course, for the 5 hearts that you'll get to see as you fill those hearts. You will not be able to eat meals with your spouse. I loved that in the 3DS games. I don't know why they would take this away. For anyone who hasn't played them, you could choose for you or your spouse to make breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day if you wanted to. And I really loved that, so... Now Iori will just be already eating a whole meal without me when I get up in the morning. You will not eat together for either of your birthdays either. On your birthday, your spouse will give you a birthday greeting in the morning, and that's that. For your spouse's birthday, nothing. But you can still give them a gift as usual, just like you always can just hand people gifts. I ended up having the same birthday as Iori, so I thought maybe I canceled his out somehow, but no. According to the internet, there's just nothing. You can get divorced. It will be an option at the shrine, reset family status. And if you choose to do it, your spouse will reset to the way they were before you ever confessed. Which, well, more or less, because they'll still have 10 hearts for you, and you can remarry the same person if you want. I don't know why you do that, but you can. Or you can marry someone else. If you had children when you get divorced, they will vanish completely. That's kind of messed up. Having children confused me. I'm still confused. Because it seems like if I look up how it works to try and figure out what happened, no one else seems to completely have it figured out either. So, soon after marriage, you'll get an event where you talk about maybe having a child someday. And this is where you get to choose your child's gender, way before actually having the child. There will be another event where you talk about your child again, but I don't recall anything important being decided in that event. So I don't know what that was about. Those 2 events, I'm positive, are necessary to have a child. Now what other events are needed is less clear. You know, how I said there are 5 more events after marriage. 2 of them are those child events that I already listed. So from the 3 that are left, and actually having the child doesn't count as one of those events. It's like a 6th event, I guess, technically. But of the 3 that are left, different sources will list different ones as necessary or not. By the time I had my child, I had only seen one of these 3. It was the breakfast event. I just got the dinner event shortly after already having my child, so unless my game did something weird, the dinner event is not necessary to have a child. And then neither is the Our Memory event. I didn't get that one either. I only got the breakfast one. So I don't even know if the breakfast one is necessary, but I definitely got that one before having a child. So that's what I know. Most sources say that you need to fill all 5 extra hearts, putting you at 15 hearts. But I only filled 3, putting me at 13. So yeah, you don't have to get all 5 hearts, I guess. I actually just finished filling the 3rd one when I got the baby event, so I actually thought that's what triggered it at the time. But after scratching my head for a while, wondering how I had a baby when I didn't fill the hearts or see all the events, I think I found an answer. Apparently GameWith.net also caught on to how weird having a child is in this game and made this useful little thing listing what may trigger having a child. And one of them is 2 months and 5 days passed from marriage. I got married on fall 1st. My baby was born on spring 5th. That's exactly 2 months and 5 days. Exactly. I don't know if your game will somehow differ from mine or not, but this is how it is for me. It was a time thing. So yeah, you don't need to see every one of the after marriage events. I mean, I know you have to see the child ones, you have to choose its gender. And you don't have to fill all the hearts. Just keep an eye on the time, I guess. But whatever the case is, you'll probably want to be careful and safe before bed every night if you think you'll have a child soon. Because while you've already chosen the gender, your child's appearance still isn't set. Whatever your skin, eye, and hair color is, when you have the baby, will be thrown together with your spouse's hair, eyes, and skin. And it will be randomized. So the baby might have your hair, their eyes, your skin, or any combination. All 3 might even match only one of you. So if you have something specific in mind, which I did, you'll want to be able to reset quickly instead of playing a bunch of extra days like I ended up doing when I first triggered the event, because I had no idea it was coming. The actual baby event is weird too. No matter what gender you or your spouse are, you will be given a baby by a sprite. No one gets pregnant, ever. That makes sense for some couples, but not for all of them. I guess that's just how every baby is born in this world, right? They get our genetics somehow, so that must be magic babies. I have no idea if these amount of days are right at all, but 30 days after being born, your baby will become a toddler. They'll crawl and try to talk. 46 days after that, they will try to walk, and they will still be a toddler, so nothing actually changes there. I think 20 days after that, they will grow into their child stage, which is the oldest they'll ever be. It should be 96 days after birth, I think, when they'll be all grown up. It's weird amounts. I don't know. Alright, time to tell you about all the marriage candidates, and we'll talk about some other characters as well for this game. Oh boy, boy. Laura, a friendly and informative tour guide. The entire manual that comes with the physical game is written like she made it herself, which is so cute, and probably the reason why I got attached to her more than anyone else. She'll keep track of everything concerning your online play for you. I guess that makes sense for a tour guide to do. She lives with her father, Norman, who runs Norman's Groceries, and her mother, Sydney, who is a lawyer. By the way, no one has any disliked or hated gifts. The worst is neutral, so you won't lose any points if you hand them whatever. Obviously it's still going to be better and quicker to woo with good gifts, so I'll still put some suggestions up. They're still liked, loved, and special. And the game itself will suggest a gift for each character as well, where everyone is listed, so That's good to check while playing. Reina, not to be confused with the Reina who is actually named Licorice. An intelligent appraiser who lives and works at the museum, where she'll appraise the objects you find in the water and mines. She's just as serious about her job as she is about partying and dancing. Blaire, a mostly cheery waitress working at the Cape Side Bistro and living out Gauls Rest Hotel and Cafe with her family. Her father Jason, mother Sally, and brother Mikey. She prefers the city over Olive Town and longs to move away to become an actress. Lynn, a shy florist who lives and works with her grandfather at... I really don't know how to pronounce your grandfather's name. I looked it up, but people can't agree on how it's pronounced. Like, a lot of people were saying it's like Win, or like New Win. I don't know. But at his flower shop, that's where she works. She sends letters back and forth with her friends in the city and gets along well with the children in town. Bridget, a hardworking farmer that sells you your pets at the Hoof House Animal Shop, where she also lives with her mother Patricia, father George, and brother Damon. I keep forgetting that their dad exists even. She loves animals and worries about her brother. Iori, a wealthy and gentle lord who moved from a faraway place with his retainer Dosetsu. He loves mushrooms and doing relaxing things like fishing. There's a certain character you'll only meet if you woo and marry him, and that character will disappear again if you get divorced, just like your children. Damon, a stubborn guy who tries to be cooler than he is and refuses to work at the animal shop with his mom and sister, even though he secretly likes animals. Like, why would you hide that? He likes riding motorcycles with his friend Lars and looking up at the stars at night. Jack, a guy who seems lazy and likes to watch movies. He has a lot of family in town, his grandparents Simon and Jesse, his mother Angela, his little sister Cindy. He lives and sometimes works at the Olive General store that his mother owns. But he actually spends a lot of time trying to create new things to sell at the store. He'll actually open up a stall near the hotel to sell his own creations, but you can't actually buy anything. I don't know why that's a thing. Emilio, a fun and friendly fisherman who loves the ocean and plays the guitar. He lives with his fellow fisherman father, Marcos, that's way too many F's in a row, his mother, Manuela, and Raul, who is not his little brother, I guess. He might as well be. I think that's pretty much how they see each other. And I thought he was at first, but he's another relative that lives with them so he can fish. Ralph, a calm, nature-loving ranger working at the ranger station and living with his father Nigel at Nigel's Handiworks. He takes his job seriously and protects both the wildlife and the humans who enter the forest so no one gets hurt or lost. It's hard to think of easy gifts for him. You can't just throw fruit at him like everyone else. Which you'd think you could do that for a ranger who loves nature, but for no, he likes soup. And if you bought the DLC, you can also marry Felicia. Her name was Felicity in A New Beginning, in the translation of A New Beginning. Felicia is a more accurate translation of her name. It's so similar that it took me a while to realize that there even was a difference in her name. A former waitress and now food columnist in search of forbidden recipes that can drive entire countries to ruin. I think Felicia is a villain. Why are you looking for these? Neil, also from A New Beginning. He used to sell animals, but I guess he just doesn't have a job now. He's a cold, kind of grumpy guy with a soft spot for animals and can actually be pretty sweet. He's like Vaughn, but with a really cool jacket. Neil is what Damon wishes he was. I don't even hate Damon. I don't know why I put Damon down so much. He was one of the ones I was considering marrying first, but I wanted to marry Iori to unlock Masayuki. No, I like Laura more. I definitely like Laura more than Damon. But I don't dislike Damon. Iris from Story of Seasons. A famous novelist who moved to Terracotta Oasis to get away from obsessed fans. But, would the fans not also bother Mistle for being her brother? Like, is he okay? Did he just stay there by himself? Where's your sister, Mistle? Raeger, also from Story of Seasons, a kind chef who closed his restaurant to come to Terracotta Oasis. So far, both of the girls continue to work while the guys just move and do nothing. That will be swapped for the next two, but like, almost every bachelorette in the whole game has a steady job, while a lot of the bachelors just have no idea what they're doing, apparently. Raeger doesn't really do nothing, though. He still works on new recipes. I wish the DLC characters interacted more with Olive Town, because most of them could easily get jobs in like the shops in town or build new ones. We were supposed to grow the town to get more tourists, right? So like, we don't actually do that too much, do we? Lisette from Trio of Towns. A sweet girl who loves reading and used to be a florist, but she moved because a character from a book inspired her to travel. She's the only bachelorette that doesn't really have a job now, but it would be so cute if she and Lynn worked together. Ludus from Trio Towns. A dependable jack of all trades who fixed up all the buildings in Twilight Isle with his apprentice that I don't know how to say the name of. I'm not gonna try. He's still a very busy guy, but too bad we can't actually hire him for anything like in Trio of Towns. The designs for the marriage candidates aren't bad at all. They're good, just not as good as some of the unmarriageable characters. I am absolutely about to have a section whining about the hot people we can't marry. But first, I'm not done with this part. The characters look okay. They're fine-ish. I remember before we had the DLC, people were complaining about too many blondes. But there's actually more like brown hair or dark hair. Iori is the only unique one, and that's just dark blue. No pink or green or anything like that, and I really like unnatural hair colors. Then the DLC got added. And man, that's a lot of blondes! Okay, that's definitely too many now. I think they chose the most popular candidates from each game that they're from for the DLC. I didn't realize Felicia was so popular, but I definitely knew the rest were, so I'm pretty sure that's how this happened. But did they know they were adding these characters before they designed the regular candidates? Because I feel like Damon and Blaire, I'm not turning off that heater. I feel like Damon and Blaire are way too similar to Neil and Felicia. If we needed two standoffish guys that love animals, they could at least look more different, so yeah, as someone who really likes blonde hair, this is entirely too many blondes. The regular candidates have interesting enough backstories and personalities and stuff. Maybe not the most unique ever, and it's, there's definitely been better, but it's not awful. I'm just so disappointed with romantic events, and I already complained about no kiss at the wedding, no meals with your spouse. It's not romantic at all. There's no romance here. I actually just have a roommate. Now, as for who you can't marry, there are of course plenty of hot moms. There always is. This game is plentiful with them, and I still see no reason why we shouldn't be able to marry the single parents, but whatever. The thing that really grinds my gears though is all the very, very totally single characters that are not even parents or anything. There's no reason why you can't marry them. We have a lady spirit instead of a harvest goddess in this town, which is kind of weird, but it makes for a refreshing new design for that type of character. The sprites are completely different too. They're not just like little elf dudes. They're they're round. They're very round. I don't know what they are. I like them though. They look like squishmallows a little bit. The spirit is gorgeous, and not only can you not marry her, but you also can't befriend her for some reason. Like why? Also, for some reason, she will be a blonde child with wavy hair when you first meet her until you get at least 100 follower sprites. Then she's an adult with straight white hair. I don't know why her two different forms are so different. The character you unlock when you marry Iori is a guy called Matsuyuki, and I won't tell you too much about him, but just, oh, look how beautiful. Why does this game hate me? He's hotter than every candidate put together. Why? And again, I don't even think who we got looks bad, but you can't just do this to me. We clearly could have had better. I stare at better all the time. Karina and Jean both get unlocked with the salon, and both of them look like they should be around the age of any other marriage candidate, so what's up with that? Couldn't be any older than Iris. I don't really care much for how Jean looks, but someone probably does. Misaki, Clem, and Yakubo are all characters I've seen other players expressing their desires for. Misaki and Clem, I think, are a little older, and Yakubo is a huge jerk, so I guess I know why they aren't options, but I like a wide variety. Even if I personally would not marry some of these characters, Yakubo especially, it'd be nice to have the option. I don't know what Japanese players feel about older candidates. I feel like I learned about that at some point and then forgot. But I've seen so many English-speaking players wanting more of them. The only one we have for this entire game is Iris, and she clearly was popular since she's here, right? So like, why that more would be good, right? I don't want the whole cast to be like taken over or nothing, but like put a little more in there, put a little more. Then there's Beth and Lars. This is torture. For rival marriages, I've heard 2 reasons for why they're no longer in the games. I don't know if either are true. Most commonly I hear is that it's because of people being jealous of the rival, especially if they actually steal whoever you were wooing. Skill issue. The other is because of people feeling sad that the rival will be alone forever, and the solution to that is for everyone to be alone forever except for one of them, apparently. Why am I talking about this all of a sudden? That would be because I have never once been jealous of any rival ever, but I'm struggling so hard with my jealousy towards Beth. Visually, she reminds me of Flora, kind of, but with red hair. So I should like her, and we need more marriageable redheads, especially in this 2 hair color game. And actually, I did like her, and I was still jealous anyway. Even when I did like her, how much I liked Lars was so far above how much I liked her that all of the bitter feelings about both of them being unavailable all piled up only on her. And I felt so bad about it at first. Less bad now because some of the events and dialogues, she does some things, some bad things. She doesn't treat Lars too good. So I don't want to marry her too much, but I want her to be a bachelorette anyway. I want to marry Lars. Lars is so very my type. He's so nice and fun and goofy. He's such a freaking goof. He has cool dyed hair and looks like he's wearing eyeliner. I love guy makeup. He dresses cool and loves motorcycles without feeling the need to act like friggin' Damon. I don't even have a specific like for motorcycles myself, but he is so passionate about them that it makes me happy for some reason. He's just so cute. And he's not even limited to just that either. He reads a lot in his room. Love that. He likes music. I mean, who doesn't? But like, it's something he talks about, and he has a guitar in his room. How do you make a character that great, give them a girlfriend, expect jealousy to not ensue? He far outshines any of the candidates. In Trio of Towns, Carrie and Brad were a couple of pretty good-looking, likable characters. Some people liked them. Some people kind of wanted to marry them, you know? But I never wanted to split them apart because the actual candidates in the game were just so freaking good. I didn't need to. But not even Laura can make up for Lars and Matsuyuki not being marriageable. And I really like her now. So like, when I was choosing who to marry, it should have been difficult because too many candidates were so great. Like I usually do. That is usually my struggle. But instead, it was really difficult because I was having a hard time getting interested in any of them at first. I like some of them now, but oh my gosh, that was difficult. Lars and Matsuyuki would have given me the correct kind of struggle. Even though I don't know as much about Matsuyuki as I do about Lars. It's mainly a looks thing. Maybe I would pick Lars first then, but I mean, if he were a bachelor, then I would get to know more about him, right? I'm in pain. More ways than one. I've been talking too long and I can't marry Lars. Okay, graphics. Alright, looks. Alright. It's a very visually pleasing game. Nice looking people, nice looking animals, charming textures, pretty buildings and worlds. Sometimes I notice weird little things. I like taking pictures when I have meals out, but certain items are so more obviously I think all the food all of the food items are 2D, but some look more obviously 2D than others, and that can be a bit distracting. Fish are like that too. But yeah, no big complaints about the graphics or the character designs, really. I mean, besides not being satisfied with the hotness of characters. Music and sounds. People have voices, and the only time it's gotten annoying for me is when you refine things with Reina. That's pretty good when taking past games in consideration when it comes to annoying voices, okay? That's not too bad. The music is pretty good overall. None of it has driven me up the wall yet. If I were to pick a least favorite music, probably summer music. I don't know what my issue is with summer in these games, but or one of the songs that plays during the events, that's all like... My voice is not going to be usable. I don't know what it's called, but it goes something like that. Each candidate has their own theme, even the DLC ones, which are actually songs from the games that they came from. Lynn's theme is beautiful, very calming. I should play it in the video. There's a lot of really good candidate themes. There's pretty good music in this game. Replayability. I've only played it once so far. I do plan on starting more files because I want to marry more characters. I at least want to marry Laura, because she's turning out to be my favorite bachelorette. I'm kind of wanting to marry Emilio too. He's not my type visually, but he's been really funny and nice so far. I could see why you might also want to play multiple files so you can decorate your farm in different ways, but you are pretty limited. There's not a lot of decoration items. That's kind of a shame because you had a lot in the 3DS games. The story is not at all interesting enough for me to restart specifically for that. Marrying more people is the biggest reason to replay, and I'm not especially enthusiastic about it, but I do want to play it more. I do want to replay it. I absolutely do. There are 10 save files per account, so if you only want to marry the regular candidates without overwriting anyone, you have enough space to do that. But with the DLC, you'll have to have 2 accounts on your Switch to marry everyone without deleting anyone. Do I recommend? Kinda. I'm not gonna tell you not to play it, but you're probably not gonna die if you don't play it, which implies that you will die if you don't play other games I've recommended, so there's that. I like this game, actually. I've played it for somewhere over 100 hours so far, and I'll definitely play it a lot more since so far I've only married Iori, and like I said, I am going to replay it. And it's worth it if you like at least one of the marriage candidates, and you can still get pretty addicted to the repetitive farming and chores. That still just sucks you right in. But there's just so many problems still, and coming from Trio was pretty disappointing. Trio was almost perfect. This is really not a bad game. It's just that I have better to compare it to, way better. Maybe I'm being unfair, but how did we go so far backwards from Trio? I'm assuming it's because of the other developers being hired. If they do keep using 3 rings, I really hope they learn from their mistakes. This reminds me of how weird and experimental they got during the DS games, actually. I guess they've always done weird things with each game throughout the whole series. There's always something that will drive like certain players away from each game, even if it's like a really loved game. And I'm way more chill about the issues in older games because they're older games. If the newest games have problems like this, of course I'll be harsher about it because I want them to keep doing better. So yeah, hopefully future games will be better. I know they're capable of it. New developers or not, I don't know if they're going to keep using them or not, but either way, they can do it. They can do it. Whatever happens with Story of Seasons, at least the next Rune Factory games look like they're going to be really cool from what I've seen so far. We haven't seen much yet, but what we have is really cool. That's all for this video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Comment and do all the good things if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!